All right, well, now that you have finished the graphing activity and established the relationship, the inverse relationship between log base b of x and b to the power of x, we know that these are operations that cancel each other out. We're going to see how that inverse relationship can help us actually solve. So if I'm looking at this equation here, what I see is an unknown exponent. I see that 6 is being raised to the power of x, and I don't know the value of that exponent. So in order to solve for an unknown exponent, I have to use a log. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to isolate the base of 6. So I'm going to get 6 by itself using my reverse order of operations, SADMEP. So first thing I look for is any addition or subtraction, which I see. If I see a positive 14 on this side, I'm going to subtract 14 on both sides of the equation. It's going to give me 6 to the power of x is equal to 140 minus 14 is 126. Okay. Now I did all my subtraction and addition. I don't see any division or multiplication. So what I need to do next is get rid of that exponent. I know that if I have an unknown exponent, I have to use log to solve. So I'm going to take log base 6, because if I have a base of 6 here, it cancels out with my base of 6 here. If I take log base 6 of this side of the equation, I also have to take log base 6 of the other side of the equation. So what that is going to look like, just so we have room here, 6 log base 6 of 6 to the power of x is equal to log base 6 of 126. Okay. Now on this side of the equation, I know that a log base 6 with an exponent base of 6 are going to cancel out. So on this side of the equation, I'm left with just x. And on this side of the equation, log base 6, there's no exponent base of 6 for this to cancel out with. So at this point, I'm just going to plug that in my calculator, hoping y'all can see that. We press Control, the log button. You can't see that, can you? Well, okay. And then I'm going to put 6 base 6 of 126, and that gives me 2.69918 as my answer for x. Okay. Now on this other example, we're going to use something else we know about the inverse operations of logarithms, which is our circle method. So here I have a log that I need to get rid of first because I have an unknown value within a log. Okay, to get rid of that unknown value within a log, I essentially need to convert this to an exponent or exponential form. Okay, because we've established a relationship between log and exponent as being inverse, we know that we can use circle method to help cancel. So I'm going to start by drawing my boxes. I know in exponential form I'm going to have something here, something is the exponent, and equal to something else. Okay? So I start with 5, since I always start with the base. The base of my logarithm becomes the base of my exponent. And I go across the equal sign to get to 3. That 3 here then becomes my exponent. And I go back around to get to what's on the other side of the equal sign. Now notice this entire thing, this 3x plus 1, the entire thing is the argument of the logarithm, so the entire thing becomes the result of our equation. Okay? From there, we're going to plug 5 to the power of 3 in our calculator to get a result here. Notice that that is really 5 times 5 times 5, which is 125. It is not 5 times 3. So 125 is equal to 3x plus 1. From there, this is pretty straightforward in solving to get x by itself. I start by subtracting 1 on each side. That gives me 124 is equal to 3x. divide by 3 on both sides. Back to our reverse order of operations, I took care of subtraction and addition first, then I did division and multiplication. So the last thing I'm going to do is do 124 divided by 3. I'm going to have to convert that to a decimal. 41.33 is equal to x. Okay. So if you start with an unknown exponent, you're going to use log to solve. If you start with an unknown part of the logarithm, we're going to convert to exponential form and using circle method to solve. From here, work on a few of your practice problems that are on the last sheet of your activity. If you finish those early, you can get started on your homework. That's it.